We're at UiPath together in London, and I'm excited to be with Edward from Ective Automation, and we're also joined by Torben from the Prim Group. Welcome, guys. If I could just start with you, Edward, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about your passion for automation at Ective Automation.
Yeah, I'm very happy to do so. And I think that before even approaching Ective, I think that my journey started in 2014 in a company called Henkel, and surprisingly, or actually, I was the one doing the manual and repetitive stuff. So my passion started from unpatient job I was doing, so I was doing the manual stuff, and then I realized that there is something what could help me to make it more efficient. And I started with the macros, and then when RPA initiative was starting in Henkel back then, I became the first Center of Excellence developer. So this is how actually from not really enjoying the regular repetitive stuff in my old position, I created for me the opportunity to start a new journey. And then after Henkel, I was part of Accenture, and this was the place where I realized that it heavily depends on the people you interact with, how successful the implementation journey or the training will be. And there the idea was born that I formed a agile young group of people which will be same passionate about the topic as I am. And this is how in 2018 Ective was born. And since then we grow to multiple countries, having customers all over Europe and also Asia and US. And yeah, so for me, it is already the sixth year in the entrepreneurship journey. And nowadays I keep this CEO title, but still in my soul, I'm a developer. And I same, if not even more, enjoy the juicy technical discussions much more than, the regular, the salesy stuff around the automation, etc. So this is my patient journey within the automation, and Torben actually was our first customer back in 2018.
Torben, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, probably from my perspective, my journey with automation started, I think it was in 2016 when I read a book called The Second Machine Age, where two scientists predicted that more or less 50% of the jobs in the Western world would be taken away by technology. And at the time I was running the Global Shared Service Organization of Linde, roughly a little bit less than 1,500 people. And I thought about what does that mean for my organization? And do I have opportunities from that trend? And that's how it all started. And then we did our first kind of project trying to understand the space. And very quickly, we came together with Edward, who was running at that time the team doing the implementation. And as you said, I became your first client, and we were very happy with the work.
Yeah. And Edward, if I could turn to you again, talking about clients, perhaps you could share with us your approach to ensuring that your clients get value from their investment in automation and how you go about measuring that.
Yeah, so I would like to highlight that I think that there is, on automation market, there are two major groups of service providers, and there are big four and the larger players on the market, as well as there are boutique companies. And there are many concerns with the boutique companies that usually there are bunch of technical guys, or we call them geeks, which are not really well skilled in approaching the Center of Excellence holistically, or building the strong champion on the customer side, etc. Where having consulting experience in the past, I wanted to combine these two together, and having Ective as a boutique automation company, but with really extensive and large enterprise experience. And as I mentioned before, being a developer in soul, I always prefer more talking numbers than making the fancy salesy pitch. So when designing the customer experience and user experience, we were thinking of how safely our client or potential client can get predictive business case and return of investment forecast, and actually form the pipeline before paying us. So I think that where we are quite differentiating the approach is that before engaging with a customer on a commercial basis, what we do is that we run series of extensive workshops at no cost for free, which help customers to identify on the early stage what will be the potential of the project and how it is beneficial for us because it helps us to better plan the resources. If we identify that there is a potential of 50 or 100 processes, etc., we from the day one can prepare for it, but not have this length and scale approach when we try, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work, and then there is a hesitation around, but we really are able to produce from the day one very precise forecast for return of investment, which gives customer a confidence to think big and go big, combining enablement of internal resources, dedicated more space for the IT infrastructure, licenses, etc., and really prepare for the proper scale of automation, but not only short focus on this or that process. So if I would describe it in one sentence, we really speak numbers and take it very pragmatically. When I'm to speak to customer, I don't try to make a salesy, fancy discussion, but go straight to the point.
Sure. And Torben, having been a client indeed of Ective, are you able to bring what Edward just said to life, maybe with an example?
Yeah, sure. Two angles probably. I mean, one thing is from a CFO perspective. Obviously, a consultant who talks numbers and who really shows the value for my P&L, this is much more convincing than nice and glossy slides. So I think this is a very important thing from a client's perspective. But I think only talking about the direct, let's say, cost impact, which is important, but it's by far not the only one. If you only think about cost impact, I think you're jumping too short. I remember in another company I worked for a situation where we had a big kind of customer promotion and we needed to process a huge number of transactions in a very short period of time with an already overloaded team. So I gave Edward basically 2 weeks to build us a bot for these very specific transactions we needed because after 2 weeks the promotion started. They managed to do it, and then we basically didn't have to put more workload on the team, but we could still do whatever we wanted on the market side. So that was great.
It's a great story. And if I could maybe finish with you, Edward, I guess there's an ambitious future as well from Ective. What should we expect next? What's coming down the pipeline?
So I'm happy to say that we already passed this stage of calling ourselves the startup. And by startup, I mean, sometimes it's very attractive. You imagine the guys in garage, and wearing the CEO title on the LinkedIn, but behind the scenes, you're also the cleaning lady and fixing the printer and everything. So I think that we passed already this stage. And nowadays we build proper operations within the company. So meaning that we have the head of technology, head of delivery, head of sales, etc. So we have I feel well covered and backed up with my colleagues, and the idea is to have the smarter and more capable colleague than I am as a CEO in each department, and I think that we are on a good track there. And having my hands again freed up after these 5 years of actively building the operations and everything, I am more and more getting involved in strategic planning, and we are actively onboarding new technologies, and also UiPath is, since the first interaction for me in 2016 when I started to work with UiPath, changed dramatically. So it is not anymore just a company which does unattended automation, but there is a whole suite just within the UiPath platform, as well as there are also other technologies which are sometimes supplementing the UiPath journey. Sometimes it is comparable experience. So we are enabling a lot of technology. So one thing is technology. The second is people. I think that it is hard, being the boutique company, it is hard to make a difference in quantity, so deploying the hundreds of people in different locations, etc. But our core is a quality, and you can't achieve quality just by having a fancy procedures, but also people are the ones with the right culture, with the right mindset. Those are the drivers of this quality. So we put a lot of emphasis on well-being of our people, and synergy of this two, like enabling new technologies and having happy and patient people, drives the great experience for our customers. So the third pillar is actually the customers, and we still well take care of existing ones, as well as we are looking forward to new engagements in Europe and also in the US.
Thank you for sharing that. And thank you, Edward. Thank you, Torben. And enjoy the rest of UiPath together.
Thank you. Will do.
Thank you.